Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's just jump right into this, because today we are going to completely transform how you think about your time, your money, and frankly, how you scale a business. I mean, if you've ever felt like there literally just aren't enough hours in the day, or that your income is kind of fundamentally capped by your own physical energy, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to break down the actual mechanics of scalable wealth, and I'll show you exactly how modern entrepreneurs are shifting from that exhausting, linear effort into achieving truly exponential impact.
Just listen to this incredibly provocative quote from Nassim Taleb. He says, "The three most harmful addictions are heroin, carbohydrates, and a monthly salary." Wow, it hits hard, doesn't it? It really agitates that universal pain of the 9-to-5 grind. Because think about it. When you're addicted to a salary, or honestly, even a really high hourly consulting rate, you're trapped. You are trapped in a system where you are literally trading the minutes of your life for dollars. Sure, it's safe, it's predictable, but it's a trap, simply because your personal time is finite.
So ultimately, we all face a choice between two very distinct paths here. Over on the left, we've got the expertise path. This is where you work harder, maybe you get another degree, you raise your hourly rate. But hey, even if you charge, say, $500 an hour, your income is strictly capped. Why? Because there are only 168 hours in a week. That's it. But then on the right, we have the leverage path. Now, this is all about building systems. It's about creating products with zero marginal cost of reproduction and ultimately unlocking infinite scalability. So I really want you to ask yourself right now, which side of this divide are you currently sitting on?
Now, this shift, moving from pure expertise to true leverage, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It follows a pretty natural evolution. So in year one, you're mostly relying on your own labor. You are the bottleneck. But then by year 5, you start shifting into systems. You're building infrastructure, standard operating procedures, getting teams together that actually work for you. And if you do it right, by year 10, you achieve true autonomy through ownership. You own assets, things like software, real estate, media properties, that are earning for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're awake or totally fast asleep.
But okay, to actually make that leap, we need to get crystal clear on what we're talking about here. Leverage is basically defined as the tools, resources, people, or systems that produce outsized results from just a tiny amount of focused energy. It's like using a crowbar to move a massive boulder, right? In the business world, leverage is the ultimate amplifier. It is literally the dividing line between folks who work 80 hours a week just to make a modest living and the people who work maybe 20 hours a week but generate absolute millions.
So how do we actually build this thing? Well, there are 4 core pillars to the leverage pyramid, and we're going to stack them right now, starting from the traditional base all the way up to the permissionless top. Step 1 is labor leverage. Step 2 is capital leverage. Step 3 is media leverage. And finally, step 4 is code leverage. Really understanding how to dynamically layer these 4 elements, that is the absolute blueprint for wealth multiplication. Let's break each one down so you can actually start applying them to your own business today.
All right, starting at the base, we have labor leverage. And honestly, the traditional consulting firm model is like the perfect illustration of this. It's usually broken down into finders, minders, and grinders. So the finders are your senior partners. They're out there bringing in the big business. The minders are the middle management folks overseeing the projects, and the grinders, that's the junior staff actually executing all the technical, day-to-day tasks. This is classic labor leverage. Those senior partners are vastly increasing their own margins and their capacity by delegating all that procedural, time-consuming work to a much larger base of junior staff. And the exact math behind this structure is actually pretty fascinating. Let's look at a highly leveraged professional services firm. A really optimal ratio might be 3 seniors, 6 mid-level managers, and 14 juniors. By utilizing this kind of flat pyramid structure, the firm can actually lower its effective hourly rate. That obviously reduces costs for the clients, but at the exact same time, it massively boosts the net profit per partner. Because think about it, the partner isn't just earning money off their own hours anymore, they are earning a margin off the 14 juniors working beneath them. It's a total game changer.
Moving up, the second layer is capital leverage. And this is simply using borrowed or pooled funds to multiply the returns on your investments. So say you buy $1 million apartment building, but you only use $200,000 of your own money and get an $800,000 mortgage. You are using the bank's money as leverage. When that property appreciates, your personal returns are incredibly magnified. It's the exact same strategy investors use to have money autonomously work for them, whether that's in real estate, the stock market, or pouring venture capital into high-growth startups.
Now, as we move to the top 2 tiers of the pyramid, things get incredibly exciting for us modern entrepreneurs. When you compare media and code leverage, you'll notice they both share one really powerful trait. They are permissionless. You don't need a boss to promote you, you don't need a bank to give you a loan to write a piece of code or to record a podcast in your bedroom. And even better,
Both of these have a zero marginal cost to scale. Whether one single person reads your blog or literally 1 million people read it, it costs you the exact same amount of effort to produce. They completely 100% detach your time from your financial output.
To really put this into perspective, I want you to think about the number $1 million. That is roughly the estimate of what Joe Rogan makes on his 1100th podcast episode. Crazy, right? Now listen, he isn't working any harder on episode 1100 than he did way back on episode 1, but because of zero marginal cost reproduction, that media asset he creates is distributed infinitely for essentially free. Once you've actually done the hard work of building the audience, producing more content becomes practically free, but your financial returns, they scale exponentially. And that right there is the sheer magic of media leverage.
And look, if you want the absolute ultimate form of leverage, you combine these tools to create network effects. As we define it here, a network effect is when every single additional user adds value to the existing user base. Think of human language, or a social network. Like, if you were the only person on planet Earth with a telephone, it'd be completely useless. But every new person who buys a phone suddenly makes your phone more valuable. If you can build a business model where your customers are literally adding value to each other while you sleep, you've created a natural monopoly.
So what does this actually look like when it's applied at the absolute highest level? Let's look at Jeff Bezos, arguably the architect of infinite leverage. He doesn't just pick one type of leverage, he actively stacks all of them. He uses capital by reinvesting heavily with a really long-term horizon. He uses immense labor leverage with that massive global Amazon workforce. He unlocked media leverage by buying and digitizing the Washington Post. And of course, his absolute greatest engine is code leverage, which we see manifested in Amazon Web Services and Alexa. He literally layered the entire pyramid to build a complete monopoly.
But hey, what if you aren't Jeff Bezos? What if you're a solo entrepreneur? Well, you can use the AI amplifier effect to act exactly like a massive corporation. Seriously, a one-person marketing agency can use GPT-4 as their junior staff to brainstorm and draft copy. You can amplify your code using GitHub Copilot to build out your website. You can supercharge your media generation to quickly build a personal brand. And you can cultivate creativity by using a tool like Zapier to eliminate all those repetitive, boring client onboarding workflows. You are literally layering the entire leverage pyramid all from your laptop.
Now, I do need to pause for a second, because the crucial point here is this. While AI gives you the leverage of a dozen employees, human oversight is absolutely essential. You have to always check the output of these automated systems before incorporating them into your final work. Let's be clear, AI is a tool for leverage. It is not a final decision maker. To maintain your quality, you have to prioritize clean, reusable work. You need a crystal clear vision before you even type a prompt, and you must rigorously validate what comes out. Remember, you are the architect. The AI is simply the builder.
Which kind of brings us to a bit of a harsh reality check. Are you stuck in the expertise trap? You know, where you are the bottleneck, placing these subconscious caps on your own growth just because you refuse to let go of the daily gritty tasks? Or are you operating from the CEO playbook? An AI-savvy leader focuses on empowering elite talent, flattening those organizational silos, and actively seeking out hard feedback to expose hidden bottlenecks. You really have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you the lid that's keeping your own business from scaling?
To make absolutely sure you aren't that bottleneck, here is your actionable small business leverage checklist. Jot this down or take a quick mental snapshot. First, take a hard look and assess your current level. Are you stuck trading time for money, or are you actually building systems? Next, systematically automate your repetitive tasks using API workflows and AI. Third, document your standard operating procedures so someone else can step in and do the work. Fourth, start building a personal brand today, like right now, to unlock that permissionless media leverage. And finally, seek out hard feedback from your team or peers to expose your blind spots. All right, we are going to wrap up this explainer with one final, very powerful question for you to chew on. What are you building today that will work for you tomorrow? Listen, if everything you do today requires you to show up again tomorrow just to get paid, you are trapped in linear effort. It's time to start shifting that mindset. Find your amplifiers. Go build systems, write some code, record media, and invest your capital. Stop trading your time and start building your leverage. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.